let's talk about something you probably never thought you'd be talking about, vitamins, right? What makes a vitamin different? It's an everyday word that we use. We see it everywhere. How can we stand out in this, or how can we revolutionize something as old as vitamins? And to me, this has been kind of a big part of what I've been working on in the last 5 years. The reason is because one, the vitamin space hasn't changed in 100 years. It hasn't changed in 100 years, and yet it is by far the largest segment of the supplementation space. And to me, it's sad that this huge behemoth of the supplement space hasn't evolved in 100 years. People have just been kind of going the status quo when there has been a huge gap in the need of what people are looking for. And it's not just finding different ratios of vitamins. It's nothing like that. It is way more revolutionary than that. If people can fully understand the message of what we are conveying here, the way in which you are looking at your pantries, the way in which you look at all the food that has been handed to you since about 1950 has been greatly adulterated. And people have been somewhat misled in how and where these vitamins come from and what the solution is that Isagenix is bringing. And to me, this is going to be eye-opening. This is going to be where individuals, just as like for the longest time, people are wanting to avoid pesticides in their food. They're wanting to avoid genetically modified food. We are setting that stage of individuals who are wanting to get as close to nature as possible. And here at Isagenix, we're providing a solution to that, to the most important molecules in our life, that of our vitamins. So let's talk a little bit about it. As I said, the things haven't changed in 100 years. When food began to be processed, meaning like we're not necessarily pulling the corn out of our own family farm, there's bigger farms that are doing it. This is great. It helped solve a food crisis, right? We got better at making mass amounts of food, but it came at an expense. It came at an expense because in the processing of that food, a lot of those natural vitamins degraded in that processing of that food. And it's just gone on since then, right? And what's happened is when this started to take place, they've noticed a lot of individuals began to be sick. Like, for example, pellagra. You may not have heard of pellagra, but what pellagra was is it's a deficiency in just a single B vitamin. And so as they started to process all of this food, all of these natural vitamins that those foods naturally contained were destroyed. They're exceptionally fragile. And so they realized, oh my goodness, we're able to solve the food crisis, but we're not solving the nutritional crisis. And so the duct tape and chicken wire solution to this is they realize they can make these vitamins synthetically. They're not necessarily identical to the natural vitamin, but they can make them synthetically, and your body, for the most part, and I say the most part because it's big difference, recognizes them as the same, and they're stable. And so what happened beginning in the 1920s, all of a sudden, all of the natural vitamins that our food contained were largely removed, and the synthetic ones put in. We prevented sickness, but we're not being able to provide optimal wellness. And the reason is natural vitamins actually contain a variety of benefits and features that the synthetic ones don't. So right now, for the last 100 years, people have not been able to solve this problem. We know we can prevent people from getting scurvy and pellagra and dying by putting in synthetic vitamins, but we're not being able to provide optimal wellness. And it is because these natural vitamins that the food inherently contains is so quickly degraded. Your vitamin C in orange juice, fresh squeezed orange juice, is only going to last a day, right? And so how do you solve this problem? And this is what we've been working on for years at Isagenix, is we've been able to work with partners and different labs across the United States to where we've been able to analyze and isolate these natural vitamins and put them in a protective cellulose casing. That's the cell wall of plant material. And so now they're protected. Now individuals for the first time can now get all of their vitamins and minerals sourced from whole fruits and vegetables. When you're eating, even when you consider it to be food, you're not getting those natural vitamins in that food. And for the most part, the average individual really hasn't been getting their vitamins sourced from natural fruits and vegetables since about the 1950s.